There are moments in life when everything feels broken, when your struggles seem bigger than your strength, when you ask yourself, why me? But what if I told you that every tear, every delay, every pain you feel is not the end of your story, but the beginning of God's greater plan? This is the story of Daniel, a man who thought his life was falling apart, but little did he know. God was silently writing a better chapter for him, a chapter that would turn his pain into power, his doubts into faith, and his struggles into strength. Daniel was an ordinary man with extraordinary dreams. He worked hard, prayed daily, and tried to live a good life. But life had other plans. He lost his job, his friends drifted away, and even his own family began to doubt him. Every door that he knocked on remained closed. Night after night, he stared at the ceiling, whispering prayers with tears in his eyes. God, why me? I gave you my trust. I gave you my time. I gave you my heart. Why do I only receive pain in return? His faith was tested, his patience was crushed, and his hope was fading. But what Daniel didn't know was that God was not punishing him. God was preparing him. Every unanswered prayer was leading him towards something far greater than he could imagine, and his story was about to change. Daniel walked endlessly through the city, searching for answers. The noise around him felt empty, and his silence screamed louder than the world. Yet deep inside, a whisper reminded him, "This pain has a purpose you cannot see right now." Days turned into weeks. His pockets were empty, and his heart was heavier than ever. But instead of quitting, Daniel chose to pray harder, even when no miracle appeared. Faith, though fragile, was the only fire keeping him alive. One evening, exhausted and broken, he sat near a church bench. An old stranger walked up, smiled warmly, and said words Daniel would never forget. God closes doors not to punish you, but to protect you from what's not yours. That night, Daniel realized something powerful. Maybe his losses were not failures, but redirections. Maybe his unanswered prayers were God's way of saying, I have something better planned for you. For the first time in months, his heart felt lighter. Weeks later, Daniel received an unexpected call. A company he had applied to months ago wanted to meet him. Nervous but hopeful, he walked into the office, unaware that this single moment would shift his destiny forever. The interviewer smiled, impressed not by Daniel's past, but by his perseverance. We need someone who knows struggle, someone who won't quit. Daniel realized his pain had secretly built the very strength they were now hiring him for. Within months, Daniel grew rapidly. Every lesson from hardship became fuel for success. The same doors that once shut in his face now opened wide. He finally understood. God was never late. He was always preparing him for the right time. And in that moment, Daniel's tears turned into gratitude. He whispered, "Thank you, God." My struggles weren't wasted. They were guidance. His story was proof that God's plan is always greater than our pain. Daniel's journey teaches us a truth we often forget. Our delays are not denials. Sometimes God removes what we want to replace it with what we truly need. Every struggle is a seed for a greater blessing ahead. When doors close, don't lose hope. When prayers seem unanswered, don't stop believing. God sees the battles we fight in silence, and He transforms hidden tears into visible strength. His plan is always greater than our imagination. So if you are struggling today, remember Daniel's story. Your pain has a purpose, your delays carry direction, and your losses may just be God's way of saving you for something far more powerful than you ever dreamed. Hold on to faith. Trust the process. Believe that God's plan is far greater than your struggles, because one day you will look back and realize every step, even the painful ones, were leading you exactly where you were meant to be. Daniel's story isn't just his, it's ours too. Every heart here carries unseen battles. But remember, your struggles don't define you, God's plan does. And His plan is always bigger, brighter, and better than you imagine. If this story touched your heart, let it remind you, you are never alone. God walks with you, even in silence. Share this message with someone who needs hope today. For more stories of faith, wisdom, and strength, join us here at Guiding Wisdom Stories. Together, let's spread light in a world full of darkness. Remember, God's plan is greater than your struggles. Stay patient, stay faithful, and let His wisdom guide your path.